Switzerland is a country that defies expectations. Landlocked in the very heart of Europe, surrounded by Germany, France, Italy, and Austria, the small alpine nation of just 8.5 million people punches far above its weight. It is the birthplace of the Red Cross, the home of the World Economic Forum in Davos, and the keeper of more Nobel Prizes per capita than any other nation on Earth. From its snow-capped peaks to its precision watches, from its famously secretive banks to its radical direct democracy, Switzerland is a land of fascinating contradictions, militarily neutral yet one of the most heavily armed societies in the world, deeply traditional yet a global leader in innovation, fiercely independent while sitting at the geographic and diplomatic center of Europe. In the next 12 minutes, we will explore what makes this remarkable country tick, from the geography that shaped its character to the chocolate that sweetened its reputation. You cannot understand Switzerland without understanding its geography. The Alps dominate the southern half, forming some of the most dramatic mountain scenery on Earth. The Matterhorn, straddling the Italian border at 4,478 meters, is perhaps the most photographed mountain in the world. Not the tallest Swiss peak, but its distinctive pyramid shape has made it the symbol of the entire alpine region. The Alps are Switzerland's natural fortress, the reason this small nation has maintained independence for over 7 centuries while empires rose and fell around it. But Switzerland is more than mountains. The Swiss plateau, rolling hills between the Alps and the Jura, is where most people live. This fertile corridor from Lake Geneva to Lake Constance contains all major cities: Zurich, the capital, Bern, Geneva, Basel, and Lausanne. The Jura Mountains along the French border offer gentler forested landscapes, famous for watchmaking towns like La Chaux-de-Fonds. And then there is water. Switzerland is the water tower of Europe. Its glaciers feed rivers flowing in every direction: the Rhine to the North Sea, the Rhone to the Mediterranean, the Inn to the Danube and the Black Sea. 6% of Europe's freshwater is stored in Swiss lakes and glaciers. This geography has also created Switzerland's linguistic diversity. The Alps separated communities so effectively that the country developed 4 official languages and dozens of dialects, each preserved in its own valley. The Swiss story begins on August 1, 1291, when representatives of 3 alpine communities, Uri, Schwyz, and Unterwalden, gathered above Lake Lucerne and swore the Rütli Oath of mutual defense against the Habsburg dynasty. This moment is considered the founding of the Swiss Confederation. The very name Switzerland comes from Schwyz, one of those 3 original cantons. Over centuries, more territories joined, each maintaining autonomy while pledging mutual protection. Swiss soldiers became legendary across Europe. Their pikemen and halberdiers were the special forces of their day. The defeat of Charles the Bold of Burgundy in 1477 marked the end of the medieval knight and the rise of infantry warfare. Swiss mercenaries were so prized that the Vatican still employs the Swiss Guard, a tradition dating to 1506. The Reformation hit Switzerland hard. Ulrich Zwingli in Zurich and John Calvin in Geneva turned Swiss cities into Protestant centers, while mountain cantons remained Catholic. This divide led to internal wars but eventually produced a core Swiss principle: different communities can live under one flag while holding fundamentally different beliefs. In 1648, the Peace of Westphalia recognized Swiss independence from the Holy Roman Empire. Then something remarkable happened: for 300 years, Switzerland stayed out of European wars. Napoleon briefly occupied the country, but after his defeat the Congress of Vienna in 1815 guaranteed Swiss permanent neutrality. In 1848, Switzerland adopted a federal constitution inspired partly by the American model. The 20th century saw Switzerland navigate both world wars without invasion, though not without controversy over economic relationships with warring powers. It chose to remain outside NATO and the European Union. It joined the United Nations only in 2002, among the last countries to do so. This long peace became Switzerland's greatest competitive advantage. Swiss culture is a study in coexistence. Depending on where you stand, you will hear German, French, Italian, or Romansh. Swiss German is not a single dialect but a family of Alemannic dialects so distinct that Germans often cannot understand it. Yet every Swiss child learns Standard German, another national language, and English. The cultural border between French and German-speaking regions is called the Rostgraben, the Rosti ditch, named after the potato dish. It is a gentle boundary marked by different food, voting patterns, and humor rather than political tension. Switzerland's tradition of direct democracy is perhaps its most distinctive cultural feature. Citizens vote on actual laws several times a year. 50,000 signatures trigger a referendum on any law passed by Parliament. 100,000 signatures can propose a constitutional amendment. The result is a system that moves slowly and carefully, with constant public consultation, no snap elections, no government shutdowns, no dramatic policy reversals. The 7-member Federal Council with its rotating presidency embodies this culture of consensus. Swiss contributions to arts and sciences are outsized. Hermann Hesse won the Nobel Prize in Literature. Le Corbusier, born in La Chaux-de-Fonds, transformed modern architecture. Alberto Giacometti created haunting 20th-century sculptures. The Montreux Jazz Festival has been a premier global music event for over 50 years. The Swiss economy is a marvel built on human capital, stability, and innovation rather than natural resources. Watchmaking remains the most famous Swiss industry. Long, harsh winters in the Jura Mountains forced farming families indoors for months at a time. There, in candlelit workshops, they developed the intricate mechanical skills that would become the foundation of an industry now represented by names like Rolex, Patek Philippe, Omega, and dozens of other luxury brands. Swiss watches still account for over half of the world's watch exports by value despite representing only a tiny fraction of units sold globally. Pharmaceuticals are equally vital. Novartis and Roche, both in Basel, rank among the world's largest drug companies. The Swiss financial sector manages roughly a quarter of global cross-border private wealth. Swiss banking secrecy, created in 1934 to protect assets of those fleeing persecution, later attracted controversy over tax evasion. International pressure has significantly eroded traditional secrecy. Switzerland now shares tax information automatically with dozens of countries. Zurich is also a global insurance hub, home to Swiss Re and Zurich Insurance Group. Nestlé, based in Vevey on Lake Geneva, is the world's largest food company. Switzerland consistently tops global innovation indexes. Its federal institutes of technology in Zurich and Lausanne are among the world's best research universities. Over 3% of GDP goes to research and development, well above the European average. Remarkably, unemployment stays below 4%, a figure many larger economies envy. Swiss cuisine is richer than most outsiders realize. Fondue, melted cheese with bread cubes, was heavily promoted in the 1930s by the Swiss Cheese Union. The traditional moiti-moiti uses Gruyère and Vacherin Fribourgeois with white wine and Kirsch. Raclette is the other iconic melted cheese experience, where heated cheese is scraped onto potatoes and pickles. The name comes from the French word racler, to scrape. Rosti, the golden crispy potato cake from Bern, is eaten nationwide. The Italian-speaking Ticino contributes polenta, risotto, and Merlot wines few outside Switzerland know exist. Swiss chocolate needs little introduction. Lindt, Toblerone, and Kahler are household names. But the story behind it is technical innovation. Daniel Peter invented milk chocolate in 1875 by adding condensed milk to cocoa. Rodolphe Lindt later invented conching, giving chocolate its smooth texture. Switzerland has the highest per capita chocolate consumption on Earth, around 11 kilograms per person per year. The Swiss also invented muesli around 1900, created as a health food by physician Maximilian Bircherbenner. Switzerland has over 200 distinct types of bread, from dark valet rye to the braided Zopf eaten on Sunday mornings, each variety tied to a specific region. Swiss landmarks read like a highlights reel of European scenery. The Jungfrau Railway, completed in 1912, reaches the highest railway station in Europe at 3,454 meters. On a clear day from the Sphinx observation deck, you can see into France, Germany, and Italy simultaneously. The Aletsch Glacier, the largest in the Alps at over 23 kilometers, is a UNESCO World Heritage Site retreating rapidly due to climate change. Chillon Castle on Lake Geneva, Switzerland's most visited historic monument, inspired Lord Byron's poem The Prisoner of Chillon in 1816. The Chapel Bridge in Lucerne, from the 14th century, is one of Europe's oldest wooden bridges. Its water tower and triangular paintings depicting Swiss history make it the country's most photographed spot. The Rhine Falls near Schaffhausen is Europe's largest waterfall by volume, a curtain of water 150 meters wide. A boat takes visitors right up to the cascade. In Bern, the medieval Old City is a UNESCO site with 6 kilometers of covered arcades. The Zittglogg clock tower, with animated figures performing 4 minutes before each hour, has kept time since the 15th century. The Gotthard Base Tunnel, opened in 2016 after 17 years of construction, is the world's longest railway tunnel at 57 kilometers, burrowing through the heart of the Alps. Why visit Switzerland? The Swiss travel system, with perfectly synchronized trains, buses, boats, and cable cars, is legendary for punctuality. The Swiss Travel Pass gives unlimited access to almost the entire network, including the Glacier Express and Bernina Express through spectacular mountain scenery. Switzerland is a paradise for outdoor enthusiasts. In winter, resorts like Zermatt and St. Moritz offer world-class skiing. In summer, over 65,000 kilometers of marked hiking trails cross flower-filled meadows and high passes, enough to circle the Earth 1.5 times. It is exceptionally safe, with violent crime almost non-existent. The tap water is among the cleanest on Earth, often sourced directly from mountain springs. But perhaps the best reason is the density of experiences. You can have breakfast in a German-speaking medieval town, lunch in an Italian piazza, and dinner at a French lakeside restaurant, all in a single day. Switzerland is a continent in miniature. Switzerland reminds us what is possible when communities solve problems together rather than imposing solutions on each other. It has cultivated consensus over conflict, quality over quantity. In a world of constant upheaval, it has remained remarkably constant. It has no single ethnic identity, no single language, no single religion, yet it has built one of the most cohesive societies in human history. Neutrality is not weakness, small nations can achieve great things, and the highest quality of life is built on human ingenuity, trust, and the patient work of generations. If you enjoyed this documentary, please like and subscribe to TrendLens for more in-depth explorations of every country on Earth. Hit the bell icon so you never miss a new video.